This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Precisely 6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by J. Ogaraj and read by Sharifa Tahir. Headlines. The second phase of the first term of all government and government-approved schools will commence education activities today. The Sri Lanka Army to extend support to increase the rice and other small crop production in the country under a massive cultivation drive. Distribution of diesel to be restricted. Health officials warn over spread of hand, foot and mouth disease. BOI launches 5-year strategic plan to attract investment. 21st Amendment to be submitted to Cabinet for approval today. News overseas, Ukraine war, Putin warns over Western long-range weapons. In sports, U.S. Women's Open, Minjee Lee cruises to 4-shot victory in North Carolina. Local news in detail now. The second phase of the first term of all government and government-approved schools will commence education activities today. The Education Ministry has taken effective measures to clean the school premises at the electorate level. The dengue eradication program is implemented at the zonal education level as well. Meanwhile, the Private Bus Operators Association says the private bus transport will be operated today at a limited capacity due to shortages of the diesel. Chairman of the Private Bus Owners Association, Gamanu Vijayaratne, says 25% of the buses will operate tomorrow. He also said some of the bus operators face immense difficulties to pump diesel as the diesel is supplied to selected fuel stations in the country. The Sri Lanka Army has come forward to extend support to increase the rice and other small crop production in the country. Accordingly, the island-wide cultivation drive is being carried with the support of Army camps located in those areas. The main objective of this exercise is to increase production to avoid any possible food shortage in the future. The consolidated effort is expected to ease and avert the possible food shortage in the future. Diesel will be distributed only to selected petrol stations on a priority list due to the limited stocks of diesel, says the Petroleum Distributors Association. Co-secretary of the association, Mr. Kapila Nautanna, said that the daily distribution of diesel has been reduced to about 2,500 metric tons. It is reported that the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation currently has a reserve of about 40,000 metric tons of diesel. It is also reported that although another consignment of diesel has been ordered, the suppliers have not yet confirmed the supply of that consignment. Due to this, the arrival of the diesel ship, which was scheduled to reach the island on the 9th or 10th of June, is uncertain. However, it is reported that the next shipment of diesel under the Indian credit line is scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka on the 16th of June. Accordingly, the diesel stocks held by the CPC will be issued in limited quantities within the next 11 days and will have to be managed until another consignment of diesel arrives in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's health officials say that a viral infection is spreading among children in several areas, including Colombo. According to pediatrician Dr. Deepal Pereira, symptoms including red blisters appear on the body of children infected with hand, foot and mouth disease. He said the disease spreads easily and children who have been infected once are at risk of reinfection. The pediatrician also recommended that children with the disease be given paracetamol and allowed to rest at home. He also advises that a child with the disease take a diet or syrup containing zinc. The doctor said that this is not a deadly disease and that children between the ages of 6 months and 12 years are more likely to get infected. Dr. Deepal Pereira said that the risk of the spread of dengue has also increased and steps should be taken to keep the premises clean with the commencement of schools. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation giving you the news.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi60 from Sri Lanka Insurance.
On more local stories, the Board of Investment of Sri Lanka presented a 5-year strategic plan with the expectation of attracting sustainable foreign direct investment to Sri Lanka. A virtual roundtable titled Investment Facilitation for Development, How Asian and Pacific Economies Will Benefit was held on the 19th of May in Bangkok, Thailand, jointly implemented by the International Trade Center and the German Development Institute during with the framework of the Investment Facilitation for Development project. The strategic plan for FDIs was presented. Speaking on the theme of which investment facilitation measures are most important, BOI Sri Lanka Director General Renuka Virakon stated, the BOI recently launched its strategic framework for the next 5 years, which presents a strategic approach in targeting and securing significantly higher levels of quality and sustainable foreign direct investment for Sri Lanka, which would contribute substantially to the government's economic development agenda by creating employment opportunities, increasing export revenue, and developing infrastructure.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi60 from Sri Lanka Insurance. A health insurance plan to honor our most valued elders by the protectors of the nation. We now give our treasured senior citizens access to the very best medical insurance, specially tailored for anyone over 60. What's more, you don't need medical screening to access this policy. And Medi60 covers a wide range of illnesses. Only from Sri Lanka Insurance. Call 0112 357 357.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Sri Lanka's Minister of Justice Vidyadasa Rajapaksa says that the draft bill pertaining to the 21st Amendment to the Constitution is expected to be presented to the Cabinet of Ministers for approval today. The minister pointed out that the views and suggestions obtained from the party leaders will be included tomorrow in the 21st Amendment draft bill, which has already been submitted to the Cabinet. Accordingly, the relevant amendment is to be discussed in the Cabinet and approved. Minister Vidyadasa Rajapaksa stated that it is expected to be presented to Parliament soon after receiving the Cabinet approval. The 21st Amendment is expected to annul the 20th Amendment to the Constitution, which gives unfettered powers to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa after abolishing the 19th Amendment that will strengthen Parliament. Mr. Rajapaksa said that the 21st Amendment to the Constitution, including proposals submitted by political parties and various other parties, will be submitted to the Cabinet for approval today, the portal reported. And that's the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And on Watchlight, Health Sector points out that unnecessary gatherings should be minimized during these days. Director of the Colombo Lady Ridgeway Hospital, Dr. S. Vijay Surya, said that if the people follow health guidelines further, a risk of recreation of another corona wave can be prevented. He requests the public to adhere to health guidelines strictly during these days. The government plans to administer the 4th dose. In the first phase, the government plans to implement the 4th dose vaccination to the 60 and above age group. That's on Watchlight. Moving on to world news headlines. Ukraine war, Putin warns over Western long-range weapons. Bonn Climate Conference, Ukraine war, no excuse for prolonging coal. Ukraine war, flight ban hits Russian foreign minister's visit to Serbia. We move on to world news in detail. Russia will expand the list of targets it will attack in Ukraine if Western countries send long-range weapons to Kiev, President Vladimir Putin says. The warning came as explosions shook parts of Kiev on Sunday in the first airstrikes on the capital for weeks. Russia says it hit tanks supplied by European countries. Ukraine says it was a railway repair plant. In the meantime, the U.S. envoy on climate change, John Kerry, has warned that the war in Ukraine must not be used as an excuse to prolong global reliance on coal. Mr. Kerry criticized a number of large countries for not living up to the promises they made at the COP26 climate summit. Climate diplomats meet again today in Bonn amid new energy security worries. If countries extend their reliance on coal in response to the war, then we are cooked, Mr. Kerry said. Finally, on world news, a visit to Serbia by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on the 6th to 7th June has been cancelled because three of Serbia's neighbours refused to let his plane use their airspace. EU member Bulgaria imposed the flight ban along with North Macedonia and Montenegro, countries hoping, like Serbia, to join the EU. Russia's foreign ministry confirmed the cancellation. Russia's invasion of Ukraine triggered an EU airspace ban. Serbia remains friendly with Russia. That's on world news. Moving on to development news. According to a news article, in early 2022, there are about 22,000 Sri Lankans working in South Korea, contributing to USD around 520 million USD in forex remittance. This number accounts for 7.75% of forex income as well as 0.62% of GDP. Sri Lankan ranking officials have wished South Korea to increase the hiring of workers from Sri Lanka. While Sri Lanka is in great need of overseas job opportunities, Taiwan has 200,000 unfilled job vacancies, mainly in the manufacturing caretaker sectors, and they're keen to offer them to Sri Lanka.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
And in golf news, Australia's Minjee Lee cruised to a 4-shot victory in the US Women's Open after cutting a 71 in the final round at Needles, South Carolina. The world number 4 finished on a tournament record 13 under with American Mina Harrigan, her nearest challenger, on 9 under. Lee, 26, began the day 3 shots ahead and extended her lead by hitting birdies on the opening 2 holes. That's on Sports News.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
A delegation of the China-Asia Economic Development Association Urban Cooperation Committee led by Chairman Lu Hongjun called on the ambassador Dr. Palitha Kohana last Friday to explore ways and means of increasing Sri Lanka's exports to China.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
The Port of Colombo has been ranked as the most efficient port in South Asia and the Indian subcontinent, third in the Indian Ocean Rim, and 22nd among 370 ports globally in the second edition of the Global Container Port Performance Index 2021 ranking developed by the World Bank and S&P Global Market Intelligence and Financial Services. That's on Economic News.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Another weather update. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara Eliya, Galle and Mathura districts. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters may occur at some places in Sabaragamu province and in Kalutara, Gaul and Matara districts. Several spells of showers will occur in northwestern province. Showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in Over province and in Ampara district during the evening or night. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. This weather report was published this morning at 5:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather will be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature would be around 30 Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 25 Celsius and there will be scattered showers in selected spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 25 Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index is 19, which shows excellent air condition in Colombo. The air quality is ideal for most individuals and enjoy your normal outdoor activities. Back to the headlines before we wind up this bulletin of news. The second phase of the first term of all government and government-approved schools will commence education activities today. The Sri Lanka Army to extend support to increase rice and other small crop production in the country under a massive cultivation drive. Diesel distribution restricted. Health officials warn over spread of hand, foot and mouth disease. BOI launches 5-year strategic plan to attract investment. 21st Amendment to be submitted to Cabinet for approval today. News overseas, Ukraine war, Putin warns over Western long-range weapons. In sports, US Women's Open, Minjee Lee cruises to 4-shot victory in North Carolina. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news.